Hi guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video, in the interest of full transparency, I went for a coffee/dinner with Rachel Oates yesterday. She is another YouTuber who has done a video on this same topic, and we were talking about all things YouTube, of course, naturally. And the Gabbie Hanna poetry book came up in conversation, and Rachel urged me to read it and perhaps do a YouTube video on it, so here I am doing that. Now, she made a 30-minute long video on this topic, and I'm very aware that James Marriott has also just done a video on this topic. But as a YouTuber, and I think that other YouTubers do this as well, if I see personally a topic and I think that might be good for a future YouTube video, I won't watch people's YouTube videos on it because I don't want to be subconsciously influenced or accidentally make the same jokes, though I might make the same jokes without realising because hive mind, right? Also, I'm not sure if the lighting in this video is okay because it's daytime and I don't film in daytime, so even though I am friends with a bunch of YouTubers, I don't necessarily always watch their content. So basically, if I say anything similar to Rachel or James, then I don't apologise. Collective hive mind, innit? Now that that's out of the way, Rachel sent me the ebook. It's called Adult-O-Lessons. It's a play on the word adolescence, right? So adult lessons would have sounded a lot better than adult-O-Lessons. Just going in. Then Rachel said, I texted this to her and she was like, that's what I said. So hive mind mentality already at full force here. I've not seen any of this. The front cover, written and illustrated by Gabbie Hanna. As for Gabbie Hanna herself, I've never watched her content. She doesn't interest me as a person. So because I don't really know that much about her, I'm not really biased, like, for her or against her in any sort of way. I think she's been in a few of, like, Tana Mojo's vlogs, and you guys know I watch Tana Mojo. But Gabbie's personality is, like, just never really interests me. I don't get it, but maybe I'm not the target audience. Maybe it's not for me to get. So, you know. However, I feel like this is a very long introduction and preface for this video. However, I do have thoughts and feelings on YouTubers writing books if they don't give a shit about writing books. Like, why has Gabbie written poetry? I know that she makes songs or makes music, but is she a poet? Or is this just a cash grab? Think of all them poets out there who might want a book deal and don't have it handed to them just because they don't have a big following, you know? I say this as a writer. I write stories. Yes, I wrote that ebook about Piers Morgan shagging a sausage roll, which was a satire. It was a play on erotica fan fiction. But I am a writer. I write, at the moment, the book I'm writing, and it's a real book. Like, I'm a good few chapters into it, you know? It's a real book I'm writing. It's about a reptilian that causes Brexit. So it's kind of satire, kind of parody, sci-fi, you know? But I do consider myself a legitimate writer. If you write, you're a writer. So I'm not going to rag on anyone for trying to be creative, but because people say that, you know, cleanliness is close to godliness, I think creativity is close to godliness. I think there's something very divine about being creative, you know? The beauty for me in creativity is it is what it is. From an evolutionary standpoint, it's almost meaningless, and that's what gives it meaning. I don't know. The point is, it is what it is. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. That's just how my brain works. But there is a big difference between someone giving a shit and then writing for a cash grab, or having a ghostwriter, Zoella. There's a difference, okay? But yes, I have read somewhere that Gabbie admitted herself that a lot of these were rushed and she was just trying to make a deadline. So it is what it is. Let's find out, yeah? The first one's called Unexpected. Ladies and gentlemen, come have a look. Here at last, another YouTuber book. Just what we needed. Something to produce. The tangible ego of a 20-something douche. I agree. No issue with me there. I agree with that. Okay, so I see the problem. I see the problem already, and we're only on the second poem, which is called Sleep. I like sleep. Sleep is neat. Green eggs and ham. If you're having trouble, count some sheep. I like sleep. Sleep is sweet. Best of all, sleep is cheap. When I sleep, I can dream of cherry pie and Boston cream. When I sleep, I don't have to think. That's why I love my 8-hour blink. I only wake up to eat or pee. Otherwise, I'd sleep for eternity. Oh my god, hashtag relatable. It's kind of like, you know, when you're 8 years old and you're at school and you get a bit of homework, like, write a poem tonight about something that you like doing. It's kind of what it sounds like, isn't it? O positive. I donated blood today. Feels good to finally be someone's type. Am I gonna end up like feeling sorry for Gabbie Hanna? It's like, oh, bless her. Advice 14. When I was a kid, my biggest fear was getting lost in space, and it turns out maybe I shouldn't have been so stressed about that because I don't have a spaceship, so don't make problems where there aren't any. So that's a run-on sentence. Yeah, it really feels like that was a tweet she was going to tweet out, but she just kept it in the drafts folder. Pout. Life sucks. That's the worst part. Be grateful you woke up this morning. I have nothing, I don't get it. Advice 10. When I was little, I was the only person who couldn't do a cartwheel because, spelt BC, I was too, spelt too, scared. So I tried and guess what? Spelt W-U-T. I still can't do a cartwheel, but I gave it my best shot and it's okay to fail as long as you, spelt you, try. This really is just her, like, draft tweets, isn't it? What even is that? Imagine writing that in a book, like, non-ironically. Or maybe she is being ironic. I can't tell. That's the thing. So far, I can't tell if this is a joke or not. Like Paris Hilton's YouTube channel. Sticks. You're a dimwit, a nitwit, a halfwit and a dipshit, a peon, a moron, an utter bore and yawn. Imbecile, ignoramus, vile, yucky, heinous, a nincompoop, a ninny, and absolutely cringy. You're a roly-poly fatty from all the things you've eaten. You're a jackass, an asshat, a nutcase and a cretin. Numbskull, twerp, jack-off, pleb, dunce, dweeb, dunderhead, bozo, dork, buffoon, flop, stupid, smelly, useless mop. I laugh then because I was really feeling myself doing that, just like, yeah, I'm a fucking rapper. Hold on, wait, I'm not the type to call someone a dummy. To whom could I ever speak this way? Oh crap, I'm talking to me. That didn't even rhyme, that last bit. I'm not being a literary cricket. I'm not being a literary cricket. What the fuck is that? I'm not being a literary cricket. Yeah, I'm not Jiminy Cricket. I'm not being a literary critic for this. I'm trying to be entertaining instead because who am I to... I don't actually know much about poetry. I know how to write. So I'm here just to make fun of this. Gabbie, if you really think this way about yourself, can you like seek some therapy and work on your self-esteem, please? I'm just gonna be feeling sorry for her throughout this, aren't I? Best. Everyone tells me I deserve better. I know I deserve better, but I don't want better. I want you. Oh my god, I'm 14 and this is so deep. Inspired. The next poem you're about to read is because it suddenly came to me. I hopped out the shower soaking wet to write it down before I could forget. So I really hope you like it because I just lost my security deposit when I drenched my brand new carpet, so you could read it and think, fam, this is lit. Wow! Man, modern day poetry is lit, fam. I can't imagine her saying fam. Is fam like an English thing or an American thing? I'm going so off topic because I'm kind of bored by her poetry already, so off to a fucking great start for this video, right? I thought fam was like an English thing, like in it, you know what I mean? Fam. Have I ever heard an American say fam? I thought it was like a London thing. I hope the next page was worth the compromise of shampoo running into my eyes. Happy. Every time I try to write a silly poem, it turns out incredibly sad. Gabbie Hanna, get a therapist! Relative. Time is relative. Beauty is relative. Family is relatives. 500 plus IQ points. Iron. When I was young, my mum used to check if the iron was hot by touching it. And I don't know. I just feel like there's a metaphor in there somewhere. This is just so deep, bro. This is really just touching me in places I didn't know I had. So far, I don't think it's good by any means, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I mean, by poetic standards, it's pretty bad. But it feels like, to me, she's just taking the piss. But maybe that's because I see everything from a standpoint of take the piss, because that's what I am and who I am as a person. So I think this is saying more about me than it is about Gabbie. Because to me, this just reads like a joke. And if this is meant to be serious, then I guess that sums it up really. To me, this reads like a joke. Not on the same level as Piers Morgan fucking a pasty good, but a joke nonetheless. I can't take this seriously. Is she trying to be taken seriously? Advice 4. For 25 years, I told myself I couldn't do a single push-up, and now I can do 4 push-ups. So don't doubt yourself. Believe in yourself. You can do anything. More wonderful insight from Gabbie's deleted tweets. Lotion. Puts the lotion on before she gets the hose again. Have you ever received a gift that was placed inside of a box that was recycled from another much more intriguing present? Like, you pull back the pretty paper and you see iPad packaging, but when you open the lid and inside is a lotion set. I meet a lot of people like that. Exciting outside, disappointing inside. Don't be lotion. As a side note, once when I was younger, I really wanted an iPod Nano for Christmas, and I begged and begged and begged my dad for months to buy me an iPod Nano for Christmas. And Christmas rolls around and he gives me this cylindrical tube, and I rip off the wrapping paper and it's a pack of Pringles. Pringles, I think you have them in America if you're watching this from America. So I open the Pringles and inside is loads of, you know, bits of ripped up paper, and then buried in beneath the ripped up paper is the iPod Nano. So my dad and he would do this with a lot of like our presents, and it would wind my mum up something fierce. Maybe that's why they got divorced after 20 years of marriage. So my dad is the opposite of that poem, really, and I don't know why I just told you all that. I think because I'm more interesting than any of these poems that I'm reading right now. The arrogance of me, the audacity. Belt. Even though I went to an inner city public school, we had a pretty strict dress code. We had to wear our shirts tucked into our pants with a belt, and only in about 4 different colours. One day I came to class with my new pants that I couldn't wait to wear. They came with a cool striped belt that matched our school colours. Before the bell even rang in homeroom, a boy pointed and said, "You bought those pants at Walmart."
She said I was generous.
Until that moment, I didn't realise that shopping at Walmart was something to be ashamed of. Spoiler, it's not. Then another girl chimed in, and together they mocked me until the bell rang. I never wore that belt again. A few days later, I noticed the girl who chimed in so urgently was wearing the same belt and the same pants. I stared at them for a moment, then looked up at her face. She had quickly averted her eyes and crossed her arms in front of her lap to hide the coloured stripes. I had never said anything about it, but it perplexed me that she would be so quick to chime in to make fun of the belt. Bullies are the most insecure people on the planet. Is that a poem? Or is that just words with a funny format? Is this a poem or autobiographical? Or is it a mix of both? I guess it's a mix of both. Dunno, mate, I can't relate. Teenagers, like children, are often mean to each other. Does it matter? Why are you still holding on to these hang-ups 10 years later? Again, Gabbie Hanna, please just seek a therapist. Feel like that is the theme of this video. Work through your issues. You don't worry about who you should be. You don't need to be ashamed. You're perfect in a way that no one's perfect. It's okay to not be okay. This is so deep. This is Tumblr levels of deep. This is just poetry for edgy, depressed teens on Tumblr. The book synopsis. Like, we get it, okay, you're unique and quirky. How many times can you try to show that you're unique and quirky? That's what this is. 200 poems varying on I'm unique and quirky and still annoyed at stuff that happened 10 years ago. I'm throwing that out there. I might be wrong. I'm only 40 pages into this. Philosophy. If you eat an entire pizza by yourself in the woods and no one's around to see it, do the calories count? I don't think it's a poem, but I like that one. So far my thoughts are, it's not the worst thing I've ever read. I don't make a habit of reading poetry, but I do read a lot. One of the worst things I've ever read probably is 50 Shades of Grey. Just in that it's so backwards, and the widespread appeal of it, I think it was genuinely damaging to the BDSM community. Like, irresponsibly so. It sold so many, this isn't a 50 fucking Shades of Grey video. But, right, long story short, I believe 50 Shades of Grey, like the impact it had, is probably one of the worst things I've ever read, right? Because it was fucking irresponsible. So this isn't on like that level of bad, but it's also not good, and it's confusing. It does feel like the drafts of tweets. It feels like I'm on Tumblr right now. I guess in the context of you've got a published book deal going on isn't the greatest feeling in the world. You don't want to feel like that if you're reading a published book that you paid for. I haven't paid for this. Am I going to get like sacked off YouTube because I submitted I didn't pay for this? I've been sent the ebook. As if I'm spending money on this. I don't think it's very creative. It's quite basic. It's no Piers Morgan shagging a sausage roll levels of creativity, is it? Dreams. My therapist tells me, so she has a therapist. Get a new one. Tells me what my dreams mean and I believe him, the way you believe your teacher when he tells you what poems mean. It's just a useless bunch of words put together, really, isn't it? Do you believe your teachers when they tell you what a poem means? Because isn't it a meme in of itself that an English teacher will be reading a book and it'll be like the curtains were blue. And they'll be like, oh my god, this is the deepest thing ever. absolutely describes the writer's own depression that he was going through when he wrote that the curtains were blue. Like, that in itself is a meme, right? And a lot of poetry and writing can be open to interpretation sometimes, right? So yeah, it's a very subjective experience is what I mean. Why am I trying to get like all legit about this? Calm down. I'm not an English teacher. I'm not good at, like, you know, dissecting things. I'm good at just mickey taking. Fluent. As of late, since this book deal, I speak in strictly poetry. My sentences are metered and heroic couplets flow freely. Every minuscule moment is a latent freeform verse. My hyperbole or imagery, I'm not sure which is worse. Every brute or object is a potential metaphor. My art form is heartache peppered with delusions of grandeur. She's self-aware. Silly similes slip off my tongue to an insufferable degree. Each turn I take to talk is an ostentatious soliloquy. I can't even fucking talk, can I? Doubting my friends in lead and pretension is something I do fear. I wish that I could take a break, but my deadline's growing near. Sums it up, doesn't it? Concealer. I wear makeup because I have acne. I have acne because I wear makeup. So deep. The catch-22 levels of rivalry. Advice 1. When I was younger, girls asked, does this make my butt look big? In like a concerned way. Brilliant. And now girls ask, does my butt look big? In an excited way. So don't worry, your butt will be trendy one day. This was written for Tumblr and by Tumblr, and you guys cannot convince me otherwise. Why is it that I cry when I'm angry and fight when I'm sad? I laugh when I'm uneasy and stifle giggles when I'm glad. I'm silent when I'm scared but speak when I'm unsure. I'm emotionally impaired and viscerally immature. Because you're just so fucking unique. No one else ever feels that way. No one else cries when they're angry. Well, I don't, but reptilians don't have tear ducts. No one else fights when they're sad and takes out those emotions of other people. People don't laugh when they're uneasy. Like, it's not as if laughter is an evolutionary response to show that you're not a threat in times where there is danger or something is going on. You're just so unique, man. So unique, like everyone else. Oh my god, write that down. That should be a poem in this book. I'm unique, just like everyone else. That's the levels of deep we're getting here. Again, this probably isn't like the worst YouTuber book out there. I mean, I wrote that ebook, right? Please, that's the best. Idol. If you could trade lives with anyone, who would it be? She's dead. Oh. I just realised it was like a conversation. That's how I was meant to read the other one. Wow, maybe I'm too stupid for this book. If you could trade lives with anyone, who would it be? Marilyn Monroe. She's dead. I know. So deep, man. For me, it's like Kurt Cobain. Oh my god, I'm like so fucking edgy. I'm 13 and so edgy and no one understands me, mum. I hate my parents. I hate school. The songs me and my new emo band are gonna write. I hate school. Time. Isn't is funny. Huh? Did I just find a typo in this published book? Isn't is funny how you can go your entire life without someone, then one day you can't imagine a minute without them. Okay, yeah, like, whatever. But isn't is funny? Is that in the legit book? Isn't is funny? Isn't is funny how an editor completely missed over that typo. Bird. I jumped today and I survived. Everyone assumed that I wanted to die. I just wanted to know what it's like to fly. Try LSD, mate. Advice 5. Beware of the power of persuasion. One time I convinced an entire table of people, that a piece of chocolate pie tasted like mac and cheese, like they all agreed it was nuts anyway. Don't believe everything you hear. Be your own person and think for yourself. Again, like, so fucking unique, man. Such a free thinker, man, unlike the rest of, like, all those other sheeple, man. Cut. Her hand trembled around the sharp, cold metal as she looked at her distorted face in the mirror. Just do it, she told her reflection. Don't do it, her reflection replied. Come on, pussy, she shouted at the glass. You're going to regret this, you always do, the glass warned back. No one gives a shit if I do it, she reminded them both. This is a permanent decision based on a temporary emotion, the mirror pleaded. Hair grows back, dumbass. Snip. Definitely the build-up of that it seemed like it was going to be about self-harm. Again, Tumblr, this is very deep, this is very edgy stuff. Like, I'm amazed. William Blake who? Shakespeare? Never heard of him. But again, that's kind of like a joke because the lead up was to something like you expected it to be about self-harm and then it turned and went another direction. Some people might argue that is romanticizing self-harm or making fun of it. I think Gabbie was just on a deadline and didn't know what to write about. Fair. Life isn't fair, but it's unfair to everyone, so that's fair, I guess. This reads like shit fucking Anision tweets about. Quotes, I'm not gonna lie, someone who's about to lie. I hate drama, a very dramatic person. I don't care what people think, an insecure individual. I'm not like other girls, a particularly predictable girl. I would like a snack, me. Gabbie, you sound like all of those things. I hate drama. You sound like that, but didn't you get involved in like some Trisha Paytas bullshit or whatever? Don't you lie about things. Don't you act like you don't care what people think. You are very much the pinnacle of the I'm not like other girls girl from like what I've been reading. That's the impression I'm getting. Gabbie, you're just talking about yourself, mate. I'm done with that. I got about 70 odd pages in. I'm bored. I want to go do something else now. so that sums up my feelings on that. Not the worst thing I've ever read, but not good. I'm kind of ambivalent. Do you know what? I would actually like to check out Girl Online, the ghost-written book by Zoella. I might do that. Papa John voice, stay tuned.
And straight. Stay tuned.
So that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, do remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the poems in the comment section below. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys next time. Bye.